My name is George Tyndall. I am the messenger. And today I am going to clarify some stuff and straighten some people up on what I know. Now, we're going to talk about meteor smoke plasma trails and what they do. Now, we're using the movie Deep Impact to explain this. That is a plasma trail, okay? Now that I've showed people what a plasma trail is so they would understand. People learn meteor and then they go straight to meteorite. Okay, that is wrong. And I'm going to tell you why it's wrong. The right way is to go from meteor to meteor and meteorite debris fields, then to meteorites after. Because when you leave out meteors, which are whole rocks, and meteor fragments and other things, you miss out on a lot of information. One, studying the mesosphere, because something survived coming through it. Fusion crust, fulgurites, the way meteors impact, fusion of metal and minerals inside a meteorite. Speed, velocity, and the way meteors impact, crater and crater sizes. Events or phenomenon that can trigger the meteor shower like in 1833. And why the Hoba meteorite left no crater. All this can be studied by discovering what I've discovered. Now, some people don't want people to know the truth. Why are the best experts wrong and I'm right? I'm going to explain this. I don't believe what I'm told and learn unless I know it's true. Okay, you have to find a meteorite debris field to understand my findings. And I tried to get help. I tried to everybody, but people want to say no. It doesn't happen. It just can't happen. But I'm telling you, it does happen. You have to listen to a person, what the person says when they see and describe an event. Now, the 1833 meteor shower, a lot of people described it and a lot of the things that they saw and everything, and everybody said, no, it can't happen. And they refused to do any researching on this subject. Now, I'm going to explain how whole rocks get to Earth, and we're going to discuss a few things here, and I'm going to tell you exactly what happened during that 1833 meteor shower. People said that they saw an aurora. Okay, that was completely overlooked. It was documented, but leading experts said, no, this can't happen. It did happen. Now, testimony as to meteors that were as large as Jupiter. Jupiter is a huge planet. So there weren't just little small pieces and fragments. Now, we're going to go to the dense meteor plasma trail. Okay, you have your meteor. Okay, it makes a dense meteor plasma trail. So we'll put the meteor here, and we'll put another smaller meteor or a piece of fragment into the plasma trail behind the meteor. Because when you have 50,000 of them in the sky all at once in an hour period, you are going to have some that will be behind the others. You will have a massive amount of plasma. Now, meteor plasma, you want to know what that is? Look it up. Most of you experts out there, you should know what it is. Now, I don't understand why people can't put two and two together. I got to do this. I got to do everything on my own. Now, when you go from 50,000 to 100,000 to 250,000, the effects of everything intensifies. It gets worse. Okay. With the noctilucent clouds in the mesosphere, it became electrified. Now, how did it become electrified? Because you kept increasing from 50 to 100,000 to 250,000. And you had all that meteorite smoke, what you want to call it, or meteorite plasma, you want to call it. Scientists even say that those trails are unstable. Now, when you got the sky completely full of that, in the lower part of the atmosphere, the plasma can trigger a geomagnetic storm. And I hope the experts out there know what a geomagnetic storm is. It also produced an aurora. All the plasma, the stuff burning from the back of the meteors, filling up the sky, created that. That's why it was so bright. And people said that some of the meteorites, when they came in, or the meteors, when they came in, they like changed direction. It would make sense if they flew into one of those plasma trails, because those plasma trails also affect the velocity of whatever's coming in. I know people do the research. I'm going by what all the experts put out there for me to research. I'm going by what they saying, and I'm putting all this together. Because I'm looking at it from a big picture. I look at it, hey, the impossible can happen. That's why I'm able to discover what I can discover. If you have an attitude where it's got to be this and that, it's got to be this and that, or it isn't. And I'm going to go to some pictures, and I'm going to prove my point. There are meteor types that people don't know about. Concretion meteors, chondrite conglomeration meteors, metal meteors, rock meteors, fused meteors. The coatings that you have is what everybody talks about as a normal fusion crust. What they do not talk about is the ones that have a metal coating on the outside, which is created by fulgurites being struck by lightning. And when there's enough pollution and plasma in the sky, a regular rock can get through without even being damaged at all. Now, the fulgurite, what it does is if your comes through here, it's electrified, it's hit with lightning. Okay, it puts a glossy coating on the outside of the rock. The rock has a glass coating. Glass has the least amount of friction. I don't understand why some people can't get this, but it is what it is. I have to do everything myself. And then people will sit there and say, well, he's stupid. But am I? How do I know that I'm right? These pictures are going to prove that I'm right. And why I do not etch meteorites. And I will show why I do not etch them. Meteorite is like this. It is altered on the inside. Okay? Everything in here, all the little sparkling freckles and metal, everything in the inside of this fused. Which means that everything all became one. And it has to do with temperatures and coolings. The same with this picture. That's why it doesn't look pretty, even after being cut. That's why the metal doesn't look really pretty, is because the metals, the minerals, and the rock all fused together. And you cannot figure this stuff out without finding any of these. But it makes me look stupid because I have to do what I have to do. This is metal. You can see the reflection. Now all these little shapes, This was struck by lightning. These cracks in the metal, okay? All these little shapes, they fused into the metal. Metals and minerals fuse. If you look at it, right there, that's part of the rock that fused into the metal. And all this other stuff. How can you go out and pick up a lot of rocks and they all be metal on the inside? So a lot of what people they're being taught, it doesn't add up. Because when I apply all that stuff, there's no reason for it. It doesn't add up. Why do some of them not look silver? It's because the way they fused on the inside, the color, and they altered. Everything in here, and this is metal. This is metal right here. But all these little chondrules, what people want to call them, the reason why they're in there and you can see them in the metal is because they fused. Everything fused together. When metal touches metal in space, it can fuse. Okay? And why NASA is having a hard time where they can't get their little asteroid thingy sample open is because the bolts probably fused. They're probably stuck together. I came out and I can find more and I can find more and I can find more, but people refuse to want to believe, and nobody wants to work me because everybody thinks I'm a stupid, dumb idiot. Granted, I don't have an education, but it doesn't take an education to be able to look what the educated people put out there, study it, and then look at your pictures and look at all your evidence and stuff. I've had go-rounds with a lot of people. Go-rounds with even the best. Alan Rubin, the people at Portland State University. They try to tell me that this stuff, whatever you want to call it, you want to call it basalt, you want to call it mud rock, you want to call it dialite, it isn't. It's metal. This is metal. And it's fused with minerals and it's fused with rock. And I know this because I used to work in an aluminum plant. If you throw raw ore in the metal, it will cool in the metal as raw ore. It won't cool as metal. I really don't know what else I can say to explain to people. But I'm telling you, if you want to learn the right way, you have to have a whole meteor and a meteorite, and you have to examine a debris field in order to understand this stuff. No, it's impossible. So you people out there that are telling me this is impossible, you're telling me that Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed by space dust because there was no rocks that hit the earth in 4.5 billion years. Now, how did the Hoba meteorite leave no crater? We'll get to that. It's real simple. Okay, it has to do with a heavy meteor shower like the 1833, that rock coming into the meteoritic plasma or whatever you want to call it, smoke. It slowed the velocity of that meteorite down. And if there was enough out there, especially like in the 1833, as I've said before, when those meteors came in from 1833, it was just like this. They dropped to the ground. Whether people want to believe it or not, the science is out there. Why people want to refuse to believe and don't even want to take a chance, my guess is it's all about money. Everybody's turned this into a money thing. People turn it into a money thing. People wanting to charge millions of dollars and rip people off. And me, I think that's just a bunch of crap. I don't even sell any of the stuff I have because I know what I have. And I don't need an expert. I don't need an expert to be able to look at this. I have the samples. I have the pictures. Okay? I don't need to do a test. But if that's what you people out there are going to make me do, you're going to look like idiots. Because I can get a microscope and put any one of these that I've cut open under the microscope, and I'll be able to tell by looking at it. I'll be able to tell by looking at the metal, looking at the crystals under a microscope, without even having to test it. And why do I get so upset? Why do I get so upset? It's because it's the same thing every time. But in the words of a wise man who knew what the hell he was talking about, Harvey H. Nininger was correct. Meteorites are more common than people are letting people believe. And it isn't just that. There are whole meteors on the ground. Whole ones, big ones. But you people believe what you want to believe.